This right here is the Divo by MLive, and it's a standalone device that is meant to play your backing tracks without the need for a computer or a tablet. But it does way more than that too. It also has multiple inputs for processing your vocals and a few instruments as well. And you can connect a MIDI controller or a MIDI keyboard to it, and there's a ton of different built-in MIDI sounds and virtual instruments, and you can create and edit your own MIDI sounds all from this device right here. There's also built-in effects, EQ, noise gate, and compression. It can also display and scroll your lyrics for you. It'll also display chords that sync up to the music, and you have a couple of different display modes for that. You can play just standard MP3 files from this, but you can also do multi-tracking with 6 separate stems, and you can set your mix how you want it to sound. And on top of that, it's also capable of playing MIDI files, so you can customize the sound of each backing track and change it on the fly if you want a different type of sound. You can create playlists. There's a harmonizer in here for your vocals. You also can record your performances onto it, and you can control it with a Footswitch or even a keyboard, all from this standalone device right here without needing a computer. This is by MLive, which is a company that made the B-Beat, which is a product that I've also reviewed on this channel. The B-Beat I can see more targeted towards bands, whereas the Divo I think is targeted more towards solos or duos or smaller bands. There's so much that this device can do. I went back and forth a lot on how I was going to make this video. These videos do take quite a while to put together. I have to learn how the device works, and then I have to figure out how to make a video on it in order to explain it the best. And ultimately what I decided on is I'm going to show you the inputs and the outputs first, and then I'm going to show you how to import and then play your backing tracks. Then I'm going to show you how to do the lyrics and the chords. And then after that, I'm kind of just doing a free-for-all of all the other features I could think of. That part will seem a little bit more random, but there's so much that this thing can do, and I wanted to include as much as I could into this video. So use the timestamps down below if there's a specific topic that you're interested in. Many thanks to MLive for sending this over for me to check out and review for the channel. Nothing in this video is paid. All the opinions in this video are my own, and I'm going to go over it in detail to see if this is something that is right for you and your music needs. Also, at the end of the video, I will be doing a giveaway to one of my subscribers, so consider subscribing if you want to see more videos like this in the future. And let's go ahead and check out the Divo by MLive. Okay, so I'm going to start with inputs first, and then I'll go on to outputs. But I do want you to be aware that you have 2 XLR or quarter-inch mic inputs, and then a stereo quarter-inch line input. Those are your main inputs. So this could be for 2 vocals or vocals and guitar. These will be used for keyboards. If you do decide to go with guitar input, I do recommend going with a direct box. Watch my video on do you need a direct box if you want to find out why. But also here on the side, you also have this USB port here, which is used for MIDI controllers because this thing has a full synth engine, whatever you want to call it, for your MIDI controller and different sounds as well, which is pretty cool. So for this video, I'm going to plug a microphone into input 1. And just for right now, I'm going to plug in my Ableton Move into the line input, just in mono. And I'm going to run a quarter-inch cable out of the main output. I'm just going to do all of this in mono. I do recommend getting TRS cables for the output. And part of the reason why I like the Ableton Move, I'm going to demo this on the Ableton Move, is because it's capable of sending line output as well as MIDI output. So it'll work really well for this. So for setting up the input, you want to click on Input right here. And this will get you to the input menu. So I've plugged into mic 1. So you can see right here, this is for mic 1. So I can click the gain knob right here. I can either twist this wheel in order to bring up or down the gain, or I can also use these arrows down here to make basically any of the adjustments in the Divo. That's pretty much how you make adjustments. Right here, you have the master fader for mic 1. You can either use the touchscreen in order to make adjustments, or you can tap it and then use the wheel as well, or use the arrows as well. But you can click the setup icon right here, and this is where you can do a ton of different stuff with panning, EQ, you have a low cut, you have phantom power, you also have a compression and noise gate for this. So if I want to make adjustments, click the parameter and then start using the wheel to make adjustments and set up your EQ how you want it to sound. Same thing with the compressor and the noise gate. Pretty easy to make adjustments on this. Use the arrows, the wheel, or the touchscreen. One of the things that I really like about it is you can click EQ curves, and you can see more of a graph of what the EQ is doing. So again, you can make adjustments, but you get a visual representation of what is happening, which is very helpful. I'm going to push the back button. Know where your back and escape buttons are because you will need them quite a bit when you're using this. It's going to ask if you want to save changes to the default. I'm going to hit yes. You can save either a default sound or you can also save per song, and you can change the sound of your mic per song. But you do have to confirm the change to the default, otherwise it doesn't save, which can actually be a little bit annoying. I do wish there was just a way to save a default and then make changes on the fly if you wanted to. Tiny bit annoying, but not the end of the world. And then you would do the same thing for mic 2. The exact same thing right here. Control your fader, hit setup, set up your EQ, and so on and so forth. Now, one thing you might be interested in is the built-in effects, because obviously you want effects on your vocals. So to get to that, you're going to click this EFX button right here, and this will get you to the effects. And now I'm going to switch to the actual microphone so you can hear how some of these effects sound. Just FYI, I did not dial in my mic with the EQ. That wasn't my goal. My goal is just to show you the reverb, so don't listen to the tone of the mic. And I have this on dry right now, but I'm going to disable that so you can hear the effects. So this is the Cathedral. Quite a bit on this one. So you can change the timing, and you can choose how much you want. This is a ton. Way too much reverb. Something I also like is that it has easy mode or advanced mode. So here's just a simple reverb. Here's another simple reverb. Here's a reverb and delay. Just keeping it simple. Or you can go to advanced and start dialing in how you want. I can change the type of reverb by clicking here and then moving the dial. So here's a different room reverb. Large hall. I'm going to actually turn that delay off. Now there's no delay. So now you can see there's a lot of delay or no delay on mic 1. And you can choose your sound that you want. You can see that there is a lot of reverb on this, and you have separate control over how much goes to mic 1 and how much goes to mic 2. So you can set up your reverb in here. You can also just hit restore and set it back to kind of a default setting. So that's how you set up your microphone inputs and your reverbs and effects. So you're going to do the same thing for your line input. This is what I have my Ableton Move plugged into. Same idea, set your gain. Obviously don't clip it, but you can set up your gain. Make adjustments to the EQ that you would like. Click the parameter and make adjustments. And also you have the master fader of the line input right here. Pretty straightforward. Those are all of your analog inputs, but remember, this also can act as a MIDI controller. So I'm actually going to plug Ableton Move in via the USB port here on the side now. So now that's plugged in. You can hear that's playing a piano sound now. And the way that I can change this is I can click the keyboard button right here. Now I have access to all of these sounds. If I want to turn it into a string sound, cinematic strings. FYI, you would probably do this with a full keyboard. It's just easier to film with the Ableton Move, but any MIDI controller will work with this. Change it to a full ensemble. It's actually pretty quiet, so this is actually a good time to tell you that I can bump the level right here. I can also click right here and I can get access to see a little bit more of the menu options that I have, which is really nice. So I can choose a different sound. I can hit back. Let's say I want to do a piano layer. So here's piano and strings. On top of that, you also can hit edit and you can start making changes to that. So let's say I want more strings. Now the strings and the piano are pretty, well, now the strings and piano are pretty even. I can also split as well. So if I want to have the piano just be on the top here and the strings on the bottom, I have that as an option too. So you can hear up in the upper register, I have piano. And then down at the bottom, I have strings, and there's a little bit of crossover right here. I also can click this plus icon. I can add some chorus and reverb to the instruments. You get a lot of control over this. And on top of that, I can also hit edit sound, and I can also start messing around with the envelope filter. Make it more warmer. There's so much you can do with a MIDI controller with this. You can click add another layer. Let's say I wanted to add a synth lead into this as well. Now we have all three of them. That synth lead is a little hot. I could also rename it and call this whatever I would like. I can give it a name here, but I'm not going to do that for this video. You can also go to this user preset folder, and you also can just create your own patches in here as well. So let's just call this one just patch and start making your own patch. So I would have a piano plus brass or something like that. I don't know. Just showing you what you can do here and start making changes and make your own patches in here as well. Something else that I can do is, let's say I go to a song. I'll show you this here in a minute. I'm just going to select a specific song. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit edit and I'm going to say the master keyboard. So I'm going to set this one to the grand piano. Now I have a piano. for this one. I'm going to hit save on that to confirm the changes. And now when I choose a different song, I'm going to set that one to be just something completely different. Let's just do an alto sax for this one. Now we have an alto sax. So you can save which synth patch you want per song. Or you can also just click keyboard and then choose the sound that you want instead and manually set it. But it's pretty cool that you can set your keyboard per song in here. And that is all of the inputs. That's just the inputs on this thing. So next up, for your outputs, you have a couple of them. So you have your main left and right, you have a headphone out, and I'll show you how to separate these two. You also do have an aux for a monitor out as well, which I'll also show you. You have a different level control for that. And you also have a click output if you want to run that like to a drummer or something like that. So in order to configure your outputs, click the Out button, and now you have separate control for all of these outputs. You can see when I move the main, it'll actually move it up and down. And my headphone port, you actually have separate control of those physically on the Divo right here. You have a separate fader right here for the aux output, so you can route the aux output somewhere else, and you have level control over that output. Here's the level of the click. And then you have separate control for MIDI and audio, which will make more sense when we get to the backing tracks part. There's a couple of things down here that you can do. With the aux output, you can set that to mono if you want. With the headphone out, you can actually do a pad of -10, which is nice. And on the main output, you also get an equalizer here. So you can start making adjustments to your EQ if you want. You can also reset that by hitting flat. And you can also just disable it if you don't want it on. But this routing is really helpful. So on the main output, I can click route, and I can choose what do I want to route to the main outputs. If I don't want the line in to go out there for some reason, I can do that. Or if I don't want mic 2 to go in there for some reason, I can do that. Let's hit back. On the headphone out, I'm going to route that as well. What do I want to hear? Let's say if I don't want to hear mic 2, I can disable that, for example. But also what's cool is I get to make my own mix. So let's say mic 1 is my vocals and I want that up all the way. But mic 2 is my guitar, and I'm going to turn that down. And then the backing track is too loud. I can turn that down. So I can run headphones out and basically get like an in-ear monitor mix out of this output from the headphone out. So I can make the adjustments and have a separate mix of the headphone out and the main output. You can also toggle between those up here. That's very helpful. There is one thing that is missing is there's no way to route the click out the headphone port. It only comes out that click port. I do wish that there was a way to route the click track to the headphone port because I like to play along to a click, not just send it to the drummer. Hopefully that gets fixed in like a firmware update. So that was all just the mixer part of this device. So that's not even like the main heart and soul of this, of your backing tracks. So let's start doing that now. So there are 3 types of backing tracks. You can have just a standard, just MP3 file that just plays your backing tracks, nice and simple. You also have multi-track backing tracks, and with that, you can actually click this mix button and you can make adjustments to the mix. And you have separate control over 6 separate stems. You don't get multiple outputs, you only have the main left and right output. If you do need separate outputs for all of these, I recommend checking out the B-Beat, which I have 2 videos on. But you still get to control the main output and the levels of each of these, which is very cool. And you also have the option of MIDI. With MIDI, they're all playing MIDI files, so you can actually go in and change the sound of all the MIDI tracks as well as mix it. You can change the sound as well as the levels, so even more control. So you can change the type of drum kit and switch to a different one if you wanted to. I'm going to show you how to do all 3 of them now. And one of the things that's cool about the Divo is it actually pairs very well with song service. So if you click on web and you go to song service, you actually can find all sorts of different songs in here for either MIDI or MP3. So if you have an account here, you would log into your account and you can actually just download songs to the Divo. So that makes it really helpful to get these files either as MP3 or multi-tracks or MIDI files. But I'm going to show you how to import them manually as well, so you have options of how to do both. Whether you use Song Service or you import your tracks manually, here's how you get to them. If you want to see your songs, you can click the Songs tab over here. Click this folder back icon if you're not on the same screen that I'm on. And you'll see that you have a couple of different folders for organization. If you don't see your folders, you can click this folder icon here. You can also search by the title, the artist, and the genre as well. You can also hit search right here, and you can search for the song. So I want to search for Another Brick in the Wall, and then it found it, and I can push play. So let's get some files onto the Divo. First up is MP3 because it's the easiest. And I think the easiest way to do this is actually just put a thumb drive into the side of the Divo because you have 4 USB-A slots over here. So I'm going to stick this into one of them. And you'll see that the USB button is now available for me to click. Click that. Click USB storage. This is just a few things that I put in here, but I can just play these songs straight from the USB. So if I wanted to play 1979, push play. There's no lyrics. I will show you that here in a little bit. Let me fast forward to a part that has more music. And I can hit edit, and I can change this MP3 as well. I can turn it up or down. I can change the EQ on it as well. And don't forget, I can assign a master keyboard if I'm using like a MIDI controller. So say on this song, I only want to play piano and strings. I can save it like that. And I can hit save. Something else you can do, you don't want to carry a USB around for everything, but it's nice that you can play from USB. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually swipe up. Anytime you see this icon right here, this kind of dash, that means that you can bring this up and you can see more. And there's also a couple more things in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the file. In this case, it's 1979. And I'm going to hit import. And now it has imported that song onto the Divo. And where I can find that is go under the archive. And I'm going to click imported from USB. And you can see 1979 is there. I'm going to go to USB and hit eject. Go under imported from USB. Here's 1979. Push play. Let's fast forward a little bit. You can hear that that song has been imported onto my Divo. And I don't need the USB stick at all. That's probably the easiest way to get just MP3s onto here. Remember, I will show you lyrics and chords and stuff like that in a minute. I'm just going to show you all the other options. Next up are the MTA files. These are multi-track files. So these are actually under the default folder. And then under MTA, there's a couple of them already in here. I think I got some of these songs because MLive sent it over to me, so that's why there's all these Italian songs, because they are an Italian company. But let me just go to a song that I know. And what I can do with this one, anytime there's an MTA file, I can click Mix, and then here I can start mixing the song. Let me fast forward a little bit. So I can solo the drums, and I can adjust the level of it. Turn down the bass. I can mute the guitar if I'm a guitar player and I'm going to play the guitar. I can push the solo button to hear what instruments are playing on each of the stems. Okay, so this is like the strings and the backing vocals. And this is the horns. So I can turn down that horn section and turn down the strings, and this is more of the mix that I want. So with MTA files, you get 6 separate stems and you can make mixes of each of them. Let's go back to songs. I'm going to hit back to go back. Let's go to the default folder. And remember, so I can either tap it or I can use this to choose what I want. So let's go under default. This time I'm going to go under MIDI. Let's choose just like another brick in the wall, for example, since I'm familiar with that song. Or actually, does it have Summer Nights in here? Yeah, they have Summer Nights in here as well. So I'll show you the difference between this, between MIDI and MTA files. MTA just had audio files, but this time it plays the song and I can adjust the mix like I did with the MTA files. But what's really cool about this is I can hit edit and I can change the sounds of all of these patches that it's using in here. So let's go ahead and solo that drum. And I can click this plus symbol right here. I can add more reverb to the drums if I wanted to. Add some chorus to the drums if you wanted to as well. I can adjust the panning, so on and so forth, but I can also change the instrument. So this is the drummer, but let's say I want to change the kit. I can choose a different type of kit for this song. So let's hit OK and hit save. And hit back. Let's also say that I don't really like the sound of the guitar. So I don't like the sound of that. Let's go ahead and change that. Hit change instrument. We'll set it to that just for fun. And remember, I can edit this sound as well. I can change the filter, change the attack time, the decay, the envelope of this, just reset it as well. There's so much that you can do when you have like a MIDI file. That's what's different with MIDI versus the MTA, because if I go to the MTA files, same song, when I hit edit, I can adjust the levels of each of them. but I can't change the sounds. These are audio files. I can't change those. So that's the main difference. Now we understand it. But what if you want to import your own MTA files? I'm going to show you how to do that now. So to do this, you are going to have to go to Options, and you want to go to Network. Now you can connect to one of your networks, which is what I've done here. I've connected to one of my networks. Or what you can do is you can also generate the network, and Divo will become its own network, and you can connect to that network on your computer. I'm just going to go with this method right now. You also can just go Ethernet and connect direct into your computer. Those are your three options for connecting this to your computer to use the software. I'm going to escape until you get to this menu, and then you want to hit Transfer. Once you're on this screen, it shows you how you can connect. And this is how you want to connect to the Live Manager software. So this is the Live Manager software. It's a free download from their website. So we're going to create MTA files. So I'm going to click this, drag the files that you want to import. So for this example, I'm just going to use Ice Ice Baby. I'm going to drag all of these in, and now it's dropped it into here. First thing you want to do is you want to give it a title, the artist, the genre, and it is important to set the BPM. I don't know what Ice Ice Baby actually is. I'm just going to do 100 and then set the key of the song, which is D minor in this case. And I'll show you why that's actually important here in a little bit. Now, with each of the files in here, you can have multiple different files, but you want to set them to the family. Remember with MTA files, we have those 6 separate faders. Well, we need to assign each of these backing track stems to one of those families. So it's actually smart. It already assigned, it saw bass, so it assigned it to bass. And it saw that this one said click in it, so it assigned it to the click family. It did that for all of these, but tracks, I can choose what family do I want to assign it to. These are the options that you get. You don't get more. On the B beat, you actually can create your own families and route them out separately. But on this one, you have to kind of just assign it to one of these. So I'm going to assign this one just to orchestra, just to keep it simple. Tracks are just always orchestra. That way keyboards are always piano, and so on and so forth. But I'm going to set this one to orchestra. These are going to be the families that they will be assigned to. Then I'm going to click this button right here, and it's going to create an MTA file. So let's go ahead and hit save, and it's going to create the file for me. Now that that's done, I'm going to hit close and back out of this. Now what I can do, if I wanted to connect to it, my computer and my Divo are both connected to the same Wi-Fi network. So now I can click manage the repertoire on your MLive devices. And if everything's connected, I can click here and I can start dragging the files in. I actually find the software to be pretty clunky, to be honest. It's not my favorite. So I actually like to just import it from USB. It's just easier that way. So now that I have it on USB, go to my songs, go to USB. FYI, it's not the stems. Those are the stems that I use to create the MTA file. I want the MTA file, and I'm going to click import. You can see it'll import it onto the Divo. So now I no longer need it. Although, of course, I can also just play this file from the USB as well. So you get extra storage if you need it, which is great. But I'm going to eject this because I no longer need it. And it has saved to imported from USB. You'll see that there are 2 of them. You can use the software, that Live Manager software, to create different folders and move it all around and stuff like that. But again, I find the software a little bit clunky with that part, so I just like doing it with USB. And you can see that Ice Ice Baby is here. So now this is in here, and I can push play. I'll fast forward it a little bit to where the song actually starts. And I can start making adjustments to the mix. Turn the drums down. Turn the bass down. This one's a little tricky because that synth is not the same as the bass. Now, there is something I do want you to keep in mind, is that this right here is your master mix. So this is going to be across all songs. So let's go ahead and just set it to something different. And I've muted the guitar. When I go to choose a different song, if I choose any other song that is either MTA or MIDI, it doesn't really matter which one. But when I go to the mix, you can see all of this has been saved. This is a global setting. But on every single song, so for example, on this song, I can click edit, and in the songs, I can make individual changes on the individual instruments. So for the muted guitar, I can turn that down and turn down the drums on this individual song. Now that will only save per song. So I'm gonna hit save. Let's go choose a different song. Choose one that I imported. Let's do that Ice Ice Baby one that I just made. Go to edit. And now I can start editing the level of the bass, the level of the drums, the level of the guitars, and so on and so forth. So on each individual song, I can make adjustments to the individual stems. and hit save if I want to adjust that. But this mix one is across the board. You might ask why, but it's actually extremely helpful. As a guitar player, I can just mute all of the guitars across every single song, and then I would play the guitars live. And if at another show I had a live drummer, I could just mute all of the drum tracks. But then at the next show, if I didn't have a drummer and just performing solo, I can unmute all of the drum tracks across the board. It's actually just very, very, very helpful. So hopefully that gives you enough information of the difference between a MIDI file, an MP3, and an MTA file. Do remember, again, song service, you can do a lot of this and just download the songs either as MIDI or MP3. That definitely helps a lot and will save a lot of time. But if you wanted to make your own, you can do that. I do not believe there's a way to import your own MIDI files onto this. If you do want to do that, I think using song service would be the way to go for that. Hopefully they update that in the future and you are able to import your own MIDI files. I personally prefer to use audio, but I know some people do prefer MIDI. Really quick, if you are finding this video helpful, do me a favor, take a second and hit the thumbs up button. It truly does help support the channel, and consider subscribing if you want to see more videos like this in the future. A couple more things I wanted to show you with this. With any of the files, MIDI, MP3, or MTA, let's go back to the Ice Ice Baby one since that's the one that I made. You can make adjustments to the key and the beats per minute for the song. So let me click key. And you can see that the key is changing. You can hear it. Obviously, you wouldn't want to go that high, but that's pretty ridiculous. But I can change the key of the song. And I can also go to beats per minute. So I can slow it down. I can also speed it up, which is very helpful. That's why you wanted to import that information when you made the file. And you can do that on any of the types of songs. You can do that on just regular MP3s. Here's that 1979 track that I imported. Now on this one, it doesn't tell me the key or the beats per minute, but I can still go and click key, and I can change it up, bring it back down. Again, change the beats per minute as well. So it's even faster, or slow down the song. You can do that with any of the files, which is very cool and definitely very helpful. Okay, but now when you have these other songs, you can see that it has all these lyrics, and it actually scrolls with the lyrics as I go through the song. But on all of these songs that I've imported, it basically gives me this lyrics not present. So how do you get those in there? So I'm going to load up the song, and I'm going to hit edit. This is where you can do all of your parameter changes, but in this one, I'm going to hit Edit Text, and I'm going to click Import Text, and I'm actually going to import it from USB. You do have to have a plain text file. Here's how you do that just really quick on a Mac. In Text Edit, you just want to go up to Format, and then Make Plain Text, and it will convert it to look something like this, and I've put that on my thumb drive. But I'm going to click Import Text. It found USB. I'm going to click that, and here's the Ice Ice Baby text file that I have. I'm going to click that, and it has brought in all of the lyrics to the song. But it's not going to scroll. It just kind of shows all the lyrics. That's not really what I need, right? So go back to Edit, Edit Text, and what we're going to do now is we're going to synchronize the lyrics. If you have all of these, like all of it says 0, something you can do is you can hit Select All and then Delete Sync, and you can start back over. That's definitely something that's really helpful. Let's go up to the very beginning, and what you're going to do is you're going to hit Start. And as the song is playing, I don't know if I have to worry about copyright just for YouTube stuff, so I'm going to turn this down. But all you have to do is just hit synchronize row, word, or syllable as the song is playing. So synchronize the row, synchronize the row, synchronize the row. I'm not syncing this up to the actual lyrics in the song, but you get the idea. Let's go ahead and hit stop. And now you can see at this point in the song, it's going to highlight these lyrics. You also can make minor adjustments as well by pushing this time button if you need to change it slightly. I'm going to hit save. It'll highlight it as the song is going, as I've programmed it to, at that exact moment. Again, if you don't want to mess with that, that's what song service is for. All of this will already be programmed for you. But that can definitely be very helpful if you need lyrics for the songs as well. Something else you might notice, for example, on this song, you have chords that scroll down here at the bottom. While this is happening live, you can hit chords, and you can have this either be text, you could set it to show guitar chords, or you can set it to show piano chords as well. Some of them, it'll allow you to do these. A lot of that is done with song service, which makes it a lot easier, but you are able to do that on your songs as well. So let's go back to Ice Ice Baby again. But when I hit chords, you can see nothing is showing up because I don't have any chord information programmed in here. What you're going to do is you're going to hit Edit, and then you're going to hit Edit Chords. Now, this is the way that they do it, which is pretty interesting, but it makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to add in some chords into this song. I'm going to hit plus. I know this song's in D minor, so I'm going to hit D minor. I can choose, all these different types of extension chords if you want, but I'm just going to do D minor with no inversion. That's one of the chords. I'm also going to add another one. In this case, it is G minor. Again, with no inversion. You're basically going to put in all of the chords in the song. That's actually all of the chords in this song, but just for variety's sake, I'm going to throw in another one that's A minor 7 flat 5 over E, just for variety's sake. All of the chords that are played in the song, you're going to put into these boxes right here. For this example, I'm just using 3 chords. It will put these chords in here by default. I've actually had a lot of problems with it when they do this, so I actually like to just delete all 3 of those and start from scratch. There's something weird about that. I'm not sure how it goes, but you're going to hit Synchronize Chords, hit Start, and as the song is playing, choose when you want it to display those chords. As the song is playing, push the chord when you want it to display that chord. Again, I'm not syncing up to the actual song. I'm just using this as a demo. I'm going to hit Stop. You also get fine adjustments as well if you need to. Let's go ahead and save that. Now, as the song is playing, you can see that it is going to change the chords as I've programmed them to go through as well. So see how it's changing the chords right when I told them to change the chords, and it will also highlight the lyrics as well, exactly where I programmed them to. And remember, if you want different displays, hit chords and choose if you want piano, guitar, or just text at the bottom. Pretty helpful that you also can program your chords in here as well. A couple other things worth knowing about in here. Let's go under Songs. And you can actually create a playlist in here. Let's hit New Playlist. Let's call this YouTube Playlist. And then choose the songs that you want in here. So here's another Brick in the Wall. Let's choose that one. I'm just going to choose a bunch of completely random ones in here. Do my 2 that I imported from here. And now that is the playlist. And then I'm going to click Exit from Edit. And you can see that the YouTube playlist has 8 songs and it will play in this exact order. I can also reorganize it. So let's say on this one, I want to move it up to start off the set. I can also add another track into here. Insert that one into the set list. So when I'm ready to perform, I can go under a playlist, a YouTube playlist. I can actually just hit play and it's going to play through all of the songs that I've programmed here. Let me fast forward. And when this song is done, it's going to automatically start playing the next song. And it's nice that it gives you info about the next song that's coming up. And it's about to play Ice Ice Baby. I don't know why it didn't save the text. This is Editor Scott here. You can see that it did save the lyrics. Next time I loaded it, maybe it just needed to be power cycled or something. I'm not quite sure why the lyrics didn't show up as I was putting that video together, but they did save. I'm not sure what happened. My best guess is it just needed to be power cycled. And what's also really nice is as the playlist is playing, if I don't want to play another Brick in the Wall, I can actually click Next Song. I can choose something different from here, or I can just choose a completely different song in general. So let's just choose this song as well, and I put that one next. So you don't have to stick just with your exact playlist that you created, which is pretty cool. One more thing I wanted to show you about the tracks. So under one of the MIDI files, let's go ahead and just go back to Summer 11. Actually, I'm going to just search for it so it's easier, because that's what's really nice about this. For Summer Nights, but this MEL button, this will tell you if the melody line is going to play. So let's fast forward. Here there's like a flute playing that lead line, the vocal melody. If I push it, now that melody line is gone. And if I push it again, it's blinking. It's actually just like quieter. You can barely hear it. I kind of actually have to solo it. Yeah, right there. The flute is the one that's playing that melody. So if it's off, the main melody line will play. If it's on, the main melody line will be muted. And if it's blinking, it'll be kind of quiet. I personally would like the melody line off, but that's up to you if you want to have that on. Also, I did just want to show you something really quick. This quick list is really helpful. So let's say I wanted to add a song to the quick list, like another Brick in the Wall. I can just say add to list, and now you have access to a quick list. That way you don't have to go and like search through all these folders and then scroll through. If there are a couple of songs that you just need quick access to, quick list is really helpful. There's also a spot for a foot switch. So if you plug into the foot switch pedal up here, You can go under Options, under Preferences. You can set the foot switch. On a single press, I want it to be play and pause. And then on the double press, I can say that I want it to be microphone effects or even text scroll as well, which could be very helpful. Now you can see when I push this button, it'll play the song. Let's choose a song that has lyrics. Now when I double tap it, I have to actually delete all of the lyric syncing that I did earlier. So now when I double press, it'll scroll the lyrics instead. You can have that set up so that it just scrolls and you don't have to worry about programming all of the lyrics. But you can program it with a foot switch if you want as well. You also can record yourself too, but I'm going to hit record. You can choose everything that you want to record, but I'm just going to record everything. Hit record. As the song is playing, now it's recording all of this. Now I'm talking into this microphone, which is plugged into this. Hit record when I'm done, and the recording was saved. Go to your songs. And you can go to recorded songs, and you can see this is right here. So you can push play on that, and you can see it recorded everything that I recorded in here. Now I'm talking into this microphone, which is plugged into this. So that was everything that I recorded. So you can record your performances as well. You also can connect this to your computer and use it as a USB interface. So click this PC button. So you can see when I connect to my computer, Logic, which is my DAW of choice, has found the Divo, so I can use it as an audio input or output. And you get some of your settings here so that you can record in or output however you would like with the Divo as an audio interface. Going back to our inputs over here, if you remember, there is this harmonizer right here, actually. So I'm going to unmute that, and I'm going to go to the setup. So you have 4 different modes. The one I'm going to do is keyboard because I've plugged this in, and that's going to listen to my keys as I play through it. I've brought the level up a ton so that you can hear it, but as I play different chords, ha, 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 you can hear that I get a vocoder. And I can change it so it'll kind of listen to the chords that I'm playing on my controller. Check 1, 2, check, 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 hey, hey, 1, 2. And you can mess around with that. You have a couple of different ones as well if you want the melodic tractor or the vocoder if you program it directly into MIDI. I'll post details on the screen so you can see how each of those work. The one that I like is the keyboard one. Something else that is very nice about this device is this talk feature right here. So I'm just going to let one of these tracks play. And when I push talk, you can hear that the level kind of goes down, but I can talk to the crowd. I'm going to talk to the crowd about something here while this is happening, and then when I'm done talking to the crowd, I can push this and it goes back to where it was. That's also a nice little touch that they added into here as well. Don't forget you also have a click track in here. Now I've plugged into the click output on here. Remember, I can make adjustments to how loud that is. I also can make adjustments to that. So if I go under the options, MIDI and click, I can change the sound of this to different tones. And I can actually choose, like, on each bar. So the accent on one is different than the sound of beats 2, 3, and 4. Pretty cool that they give you customization of the click and not just here's an overall adjustment, but here's how the downbeat and the accent sound. Pretty sweet. You also do have an HDMI output up here. And you can use this to run to a teleprompter or something like that. Obviously, you would do this on a bigger one, but this works because this is what I use for my YouTube videos. I'm going to push play on the song. But you also can click display, and you can change the display of this screen right here. So I can change the background to be different colors if I wanted it to. Or I can also do this secondary screen right here, and I can change the color of the background, the text, and the highlighting as well if I wanted to. I don't think that looks very good, so let's just kind of set that back to where it was. But that's pretty cool as well. You can also change the font. I mean, there's just so many things that this thing can do. So this is good for a teleprompter. I think it's more meant for karaoke, as you can see. But if you need it for a teleprompter as well, that's also an option. Pretty cool you get that as a feature as well. And I think one of my favorite things about this is you can actually plug in a keyboard and control it with that. So see, I'm able to control through here, push play, 0 to pause, plus we'll change the key, Yes, my keyboard is very dirty. I need to clean it, but pretty crazy that you can also connect a keyboard to this and control it that way. Pretty wild. I wasn't expecting that. So as of the time of shooting, the price has varied on different websites. It's somewhere between about $750 and $1,000. It depends on where you're ordering from and what country you're in. I will have links down below where you can check this out. It seems like Music Connection is the best place to get this if you're in the United States. And if you're in Europe, it looks like Thomann is the best place to get it, although it won't come with the warranty, I believe, on Thomann. If you did decide that this is something that's right for you, I will have links down below for different countries that you can get this in. So this is a pretty powerful device for sure. It's pretty crazy how much they've stuffed into this one device without needing a computer. It's pretty cool that it's able to process your inputs as well as your outputs. They really put a lot of thought into that. There's still other stuff that I didn't even get to. You can loop parts of a song as well, which seems to work best with MIDI files. There's also the DJ button, which I didn't get to go over, but the video would be an hour and a half long if I went over everything, and I think this is enough to get you started to see if this is something that's right for you and your needs. A couple of improvements that I'd like to see with it. I really wish that you could route the click track out the headphones out. I personally would really want that. I do think there should be a way to import MIDI files. I personally like to use audio, but I know some people like to use MIDI, so I'd like to see that feature added. I do really wish when you were messing around with the inputs, it didn't force you to save to default when you make changes to like your microphone settings. I wish you could have a default sound, but then you were free to edit if you wanted to make changes on the fly and didn't have to override the default sound every time you wanted to make a change. The only thing I've noticed is that the fan in this is pretty loud. When you're performing, you're not going to hear it, but the fan in here is somewhat loud. Other than that, it's a pretty cool device. They thought of a lot of things. It's pretty cool how much stuff is packed into this single standalone device. I could definitely see this being used for solo and duos. I've seen like musicians on a cruise ship and stuff like that. I think this would definitely work really well for them. And if you've decided that this is right for you, don't forget there are purchase links down below so you can check this out for yourself. I do think that the B-Beat by MLive personally fits best for me and my needs, so I will also link to that down below. I'll link to purchase links as well as my videos that I've done on the B-Beat and the B-Beat Pro rack version. So if you want to check those out, I will have links down below. So I'm actually going to give this away to one of my subscribers. I'm definitely in a very blessed position where I get to try out all sorts of new gear. I'm very grateful that so many people support the channel. The Divo is a really cool product. I just think the B-Beat is meant more for me and my needs, and I think I could find a better home for the Divo, and I'd rather give back to you guys. I'm just grateful for all the support of the channel, and I try to give back whenever I can. So I'd love to give this to one of my subscribers. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And then if you want to be entered into winning the Divo, just leave a comment down below and let me know how you would plan to use it. Usually I do like a magic phrase, but I just want to hear how you would plan to use the Divo. What's your setup? Do you have a solo, duo, trio? How would you plan to use it? Leave a comment down below and you'll be entered to win the giveaway. You only have 24 hours to enter the giveaway, and I will announce the winner on this date right here. Please remember, I will never ask you for money in the comment section. Scammers sometimes show up and they start asking for money, pretending that they're me. I will never ask you for money for shipping or anything like that. Please do not respond to scammers. But be sure to check out my videos on the B-Beat. I reviewed the smaller one as well as the full-sized rack one. It's meant to be a standalone device as well, just like the Divo, but it has MIDI output. It has multiple outputs for backing tracks on separate outputs. You can still see lyrics on an app that connects to the B-Beat. You can use it as a teleprompter. It also has video out, so you can sync up video to your live shows. But you can check out both of those videos by clicking the links on your screen now. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on my social media pages. I'm at Scott Yule Music on pretty much all of them. If you guys have any of the cool gear you want me to check out, please leave them as a comment down below. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.